Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. We are wrapping up the year with a season finale that's fitting. Collect your thoughts, 2025 favorite things in year in review.
This year's been quite a ride. So we're going to take a look back on films, books, music, television, and experiences that have made this year a year to remember. And maybe some things we'd like to forget, too. All this and more coming up next.
Welcome to Collect Your Thoughts. I'm Sean Millhouse, licensed professional counselor.
And I'm Jason LeCompte, also a licensed professional counselor and a clinical supervisor.
Yes, he is. What up, Jason?
Hey, I am actually really excited for this episode.
Are you?
I am. I've been really
Okay.
looking forward to it. Yeah, it's super fun.
Nice.
It feels a little bit like, I'm from Chicago, so like this is a kind of a little bit of a throwback to Oprah and the Harpo Studios and all that. I used to work in that area, and I knew a lot of people who worked there. So this is I think it's just
Holy
it's just
ground.
cool. Kind of, right? Yeah.
I mean,
but also I like talking about my favorite things and hearing about other people's. So.
I will say that definitely was an inspiration point for why I wanted to do this, is because every year, even though like I wouldn't necessarily like all the things that she put out, I loved her favorite things episodes, Oprah's.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because I love watching people receive things. I love watching people win things. I love watching people get gifts. And so to see, I bet she must have just like been like, just shoot, like she could probably like shot off like a rocket ship with the energy from that audience every year that she did that.
The first time that happened, it was absolute chaos. Like people could not believe they were receiving all of these things. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm having a realization. I really think that's part of what our world needs right now. Is I wish we had Oprah still on TV every day. No, like Oprah was having these conversations that there isn't another space in daytime television like she provided, where she was having deep conversations mixed with fun, frivolous entertainment. And I think she taught so much about so many things. So many people heard about a lot of the concepts we talk about in therapy from Oprah. I just had this insight of like, damn, I think the world would be a better place, because I think that I don't know, there's just something great about talking about our favorite things, and also to kind of tie it into looking back at 2025 for all the things it was, and to really be able to take stock and to examine how we felt about the year, what worked, what didn't, how we endured, how we struggled, and maybe like help us determine what is next for us in 2026. And hopefully we can sort of model a way of doing this so that our listeners can do this in their own way, but also like we get to brag about things we love.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. First, I have to say, obviously, Oprah, if you're listening, we love you and we miss you.
I'm sure she's definitely listening.
100%, right? 100%.
Her and Amy Poehler and all of them.
Hey, girl. Yeah. No, but I was going to say, my husband and I have created this tradition, the end of the year, like in between Christmas and New Year's. We're fortunate enough we can both pretty much take that week off. And so the last probably, 3 or 4 years, we've really made that like kind of like a reset week, kind of like a wrap it all up, throw it all out. Like it's really just kind of like a really good, like it's a lot of downtime, but it's rest, but then it's also a lot of tying things up and getting rid of the trash and just preparing ourselves for like the new year, which feels really good, really restful, really restorative, really like we're caring for ourselves and for each other, like for our life together. So I just love that. I love that. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so I wanted to share a little bit about why I wanted to do this. I did when we were, coming out with our outline of different things. I thought, especially like this is, like, because we're bearing the lead, like this is our season finale. This is
I forgot.
Yeah. So if we have anybody who's listening, we're gonna
Yeah.
be gone for just a little bit, but
There's a few weeks. Yeah.
like, yeah, a couple months. Um,
Yeah.
and so anyway, I just, yeah, I thought like let's do something that hopefully will elicit joy, but also reflection.
Yeah.
And things do feel like I know that part of it is just the perception of what happens when you get older is that time feels like it's moving faster and faster and faster and faster
Hmm.
because you've lived more life. So those minutes are less and less and less like long periods. Like I was
Right.
just talking to a client about how I remember as a kid feeling like the summer was such a huge long time. Like
Oh my gosh.
3
It
months
was
felt like a
eons, right?
year.
When you were 10 years old. Yeah. It was
Yes.
amazing. Yeah.
Yes, but then, like, by the time you get to, if you're in college or grad school, those, which, I mean, I don't think there's really a break if you're doing it, honestly, like, anyway, I'm
Yeah.
digressing, but,
Yeah.
it's just time really makes everything speed up. I I also think that because we are also plugged into everything and even just data that comes at us, I think
Hmm.
it's really hard sometimes to grab onto those totems of sorts that really define our experiences over a given period of time. And I
Sure.
really like celebrating that. But also I think that when we do this work of really talking about our favorite things, I think it can help people understand us better. It can help
Mm,
us connect on a deeper level with each other, help us find community in some of
mm.
those things because
Yeah.
someone might just overhear you say, "Oh, I really like so and so book or this movie or whatever." And it creates a connection point, which is full circle back to the very first episode we did on connection.
Wow.
I
Nice full circle. That was good.
It just came to me.
Yeah,
So
that
thanks.
was good. I like that.
My
Yeah.
brain, comes in clutch
Uh-huh.
every now and
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think the biggest
Yeah.
motivator for me on this is like, and again, this is a Collect Your Thoughts episode. And so we're mentioning Brene Brown. She's sort of famously said in an interview that the number one feeling that we forebode is joy.
Mhm.
We're afraid of allowing ourselves to feel joy because then we risk it being taken away
Yeah,
and the fall could feel that much further, right? So
yeah,
this to me is promoting joy.
yeah,
These are the things in our lives that we love, that we want to share with one another and the world, and promote that joy. So it's gratitude, it's looking forward to things, it's excitement, it's joy. And so that's for me, that's my biggest why. When you're looking back on the year, I know I just tossed a couple of them out there, but like, what are some of the things that come up for you on 2025?
Ugh.
I know it's a big question.
Yeah, I mean, 2025, I mean, I don't know, every year kind of feels like
Mm,
I'm like, "How did that happen?" I will say that I've experienced some of the hardest
mm,
things this year. And also, though, some of the most exciting things, it
mm,
really has felt like the stakes went up on both the hard stuff and the really exciting stuff.
mm.
And I really appreciate what I feel like I've been able to do with the year I was handed.
I
But
agree. Yeah.
also, when we were talking about planning this, I had a realization as I was recounting my favorite things that I shared with you that was I feel like in all actuality, I didn't really do as much exploring in the various fields of movies, music, TV, films in a way that I typically want to or strive to
Mm,
because I think I was trying to lean into my comforts while the stress of the world
mm,
and all of the terrible things that are happening that are going on a global level, plus,
yeah.
my own personal stuff, those became things for me to sort of like lifesavers. And so while I appreciate doing my comfort shows and having certain artists that I know I can turn to every time, I don't know if it's I guess I allowed myself to be robbed, or I felt like I didn't have a choice but to lean into those things. And
Sure.
so I'm a little
Sure.
bitter about that, looking back on it, but it also though sets me up for how I want to look at 2026 and make sure that I am repurposing that energy to make sure that I'm seeking out new things, and I've already kinda started doing that in ways. I'm not waiting till 2026.
Good. Yeah, good for
So,
you.
what about you? When you look back
Yeah.
on the year, like, what comes up for you?
It's definitely been a mixed bag. Lots of highs, couple of lows. I feel like that. I don't know if you want to call it a theme, but like in the work, like obviously, you you and Asher talked about how we as therapists are just as subject to the world and all of its pressures and all of its angst and ethos and all that stuff. So obviously like I'm a human too, right? Like you guys
What?
said, yeah.
Guys, news break, Jason
News break.
LeCompte
Human too,
is
not a
human.
robot. This is not an AI podcast. Um, but that theme, I guess, that I've talked about that with clients a ton. Like, it's how do you walk that line between staying informed, staying involved, right? Paying attention, but then also trying to really only focus your energy on like what's important to you, what you
Yeah.
can influence, right? What's in your reach. I've had clients who are like, "Oh my gosh, did you hear about what's going on in so and so country?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I did hear some of that. How much focus do you want to put on how much energy do you want to spend lamenting and worrying and getting enraged?" And that's a lot of how the media is presented to us. Is
Yeah.
It's clickbait, right? It's rage bait. Again, how do you walk that line? How do you? And so the sort of the theme, or sort of it's been a broad spectrum of emotions. I heard somebody say, I feel like the the 2015 ever since 2015, every year has been like a shit show or like chaos or something like that. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
kind of, yeah, kind
I
of
wonder
with
if there's a common thread in that. Not gonna say its
the
name, Voldemort.
first, yeah, administration, and then COVID, and then right, yeah, we don't need to recap all of it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah. So this year has definitely been kind of crazy. Were there other themes that you saw this year besides the chaos?
Yeah, when I look outside of myself, I definitely feel like
Mm,
this has been another year of reckoning. I think
mm.
it's also been a year of people
Wait, reckoning?
reckoning. Yeah.
Can you say more about that? That's actually an interesting
I
word.
can't. I have no
Okay,
more words on that. I don't even know what
okay,
that word means. I just thought I'd
perfect.
impress
Yeah,
you.
it's
Just
about
kidding.
records. We're playing with vinyl. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes. I love
Yeah.
reckoning. No, I think that we are in this really major place in history that we return to every generation. I feel like this generation's had a lot of them, but it feels like we are on the precipice of major movements and
Mm.
shifts and breakdowns of things
Ooh.
for the best, but also that are going to be
Oh yeah.
difficult.
Oh yeah.
And people, I think, are becoming I feel like they're doubling down on whichever side they feel on that, which also feels unfortunate that everything feels so partisan because there
I
was a
know.
time where it didn't feel as
Hmm.
partisan in our world, in our country.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm always a firm believer of that idiom of if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I think right now, like we're not only having to step up and figure out what we stand for, but we're also looking around at the people in our lives and people in culture and seeing how they're choosing to stand in these moments.
Yeah.
And I think it's really hard sometimes to refrain from judging how different people do that. And some people are blatantly doing it one way or another, and some people are being very subtle and maybe more undercover because that's what's best for them.
Yeah.
But it's really complicated. So I just when I say a reckoning, there's your answer. It just
But
it
but that's probably the
feels
perfect word to summarize is complicated, right? Not just the reckoning
yeah.
piece, but the entire year itself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's definitely not been one where you just wrap a bow on it and
Mm.
it's sweet as puppies or anything like that,
Right. Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. I feel like I definitely see where you're coming from with the reckoning piece. I feel like clients are also like, it's like people are finding or trying to find their footing in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? You feel that too? Like it's like we're going forward, but sort of tentatively because we don't really know what's coming next. And so there's this undercurrent of anxiety that's become a little bit more tangible, a little bit, it's permeated a little bit further, I feel like. And so that feels like the main work that I've been doing with clients, and honest to God with myself too, is like
Yeah.
remembering what's important, focusing where I can influence, and then really just trying to find joy and gratitude. Like there's,
Mhm.
if I don't do those things, I will lose my way. I will and I will lose my shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It will become untenable, I think. So
I
yeah,
do
for
believe
sure.
that that is like everything you're saying. I definitely think working with clients, it's been about with so many external variables that feel so unsettling
Mm,
and upending. It is absolutely not only crucial, but maybe mandatory for all of
yeah,
us to turn inward, to reclaim our peace, to reclaim what we can like really control. I think that's kind of the weird pendulum swing of time is that while we have all these crazy big technological things, people feel more alone than ever. And
yeah,
I really kind of am I'm dreaming, I'm hoping to manifest this idea that maybe the pendulum's gonna swing back in a little bit of a, "Let's all go touch grass and sing Kumbaya and be, like, with each other in community,"
yeah,
because that seems like a way more interesting experience than typing in questions to my
yeah.
ChatGPT to have connection. And so
Right,
so it's really
right.
it's tough work because people are, I think, afraid to really face some of their inner stuff, but with awesome therapists, they can potentially do that with care and with caution and also with excitement because it's not just scary to do the work. It can be
Right.
thrilling when you really make things click and you find things in yourself and in the world around you that make you want to live a better life.
Yeah. That's been for my own personal work, that's been a big piece of this year is recognizing and going a step, maybe 2 steps beyond that, is really embracing and accepting the darkness, the difficulty
Mhm.
as a part of life and letting it
Yeah.
motivate me, right? When I talk about people having feelings, I always explore what are the needs attached. That's what the feelings are telling you,
Mhm.
is that there's a need there. So if I'm lonely, and this was the big learning for me this year, like creating community, creating connection, I've been trying to push away that feeling of loneliness
Yeah.
while at the same time lamenting that I don't have more connection in my life. No, Jason, no. It was really about embracing the loneliness and going, this is a part of life and this is what it's telling me, and
Yeah.
letting it motivate me to seek that out and try and create that on a larger scale, and also for myself too. So for me, it's been about embracing the darkness, I guess, or accepting the shitty pieces of reality that I don't want to accept,
Yeah.
but then figuring out what's in there, what's actually motivating. So
I
yeah,
love that. I love that because
yeah,
it is about embracing the you can't have one without the other. We
mm,
need you need the contrast of the darkness to elevate the
yeah,
light.
yeah.
And that is, I think, a really, awesome message to put out there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
How would you rate 2025 on a scale of 1 to 10?
Scaling question. What?
I know.
I
What is
never use these.
uh huh.
What would I rate 2025 on a scale of 1 to 10?
10 out of 10. No notes. Let's do it again next year.
Parts, absolutely.
Parts of it, sure. Parts
Yeah,
of it, yeah.
yeah. This is maybe cheating. For the world, I'd say like a 4.
You can go macro and micro. Go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
macro, definitely like a 4. Like I
sure.
feel like there are so many people. I mean, we see them in our offices every day. We
Yeah.
see it and we hear about it in the news and not
Hmm.
just in the United States, but everywhere. There's a lot of really, really, really scary, terrible things happening. And so my heart just aches for that reason.
Yeah.
And then also, while I've also had some of that heartbreak, I also, for myself, I would say maybe a good 7.5,
Hey, that's
which
solid.
it's been a very, like, this has been a year that I've really taken a lot of the things that it's been like an implementation year for me, and
Mm,
being able to see all of the lessons that I've been taking stock of over not just this year, but the last, 4 to 5 years. And I really feel like I'm coming into another phase, and that feels really exciting. So
yeah,
that's what's also bittersweet about this, is because while I
yeah,
definitely have things I can go, this was harder, this was harder, this was harder, I also can say this was better, this was greater, this was a new
uh,
high that I haven't had in a long time.
love
So
that.
yeah,
Yes,
so that's those are my scalings. But what about you? Do you
yeah.
have a similar micro macro, or
I could
is
do
it all
that.
the
Sure.
same?
Yeah. I'm maybe, and I usually admit to being a little more on the optimistic
Uh-huh.
side when I look at things. I think it's just my filter, right? I could read the same set of headlines. You give me 20 headlines, and I'm going to look for more of the good. My brain is going to do it automatically. So I would say more of like a 5.5, 6 on the macro scale. Like I feel like we're trending upwards. I feel like more people know what's important to them. They're seeking it out. They're doing what they can. They're finding connection. Like, I'm seeing it in Gen Z and even Gen Alphas. Like, they're eschewing a lot of these like just things that don't work anymore. They're seeking out the things that do. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, like change it,
Yeah.
knock it all down, change it. Like that's
Yeah.
great. Let's do that. For myself, yep, that's probably 7.5, probably 8, like somewhere in there. Like I feel like it was difficult in a lot of ways, but like I had tons of wins. And even doing this kind of retrospective in the prep for this episode, like so many cool things, so many cool places I've been, and like fun, like even just like silly happy things, like my dog, like the daycare, somebody told me my dog has a girlfriend. Like
That's
that's
so
so
cute.
freaking adorable. Like it was just like that small thing, right? Like that made my day to
Yeah.
see the picture they sent of him playing with his little girlfriend. Like it was adorable. So like, yeah, definitely joys. So yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, just from the outset, I feel like that number tracks for you.
yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. All right, now we're going to get into our favorite things of the year. So, very exciting. But before we do that, I thought it'd be really helpful to maybe give sort of a little preface on how we're breaking this down, so that hopefully it's not too confusing and you can kind of understand our flow. So,
Mm.
we have 5 overall favorite things that Bentonville Counseling Collective, all of us therapists, I asked, and everyone kindly participated in
Yay.
choosing their in choosing their 5 overall favorite things. And this
Mm,
could be these can be your experiences of the year. This could be tied to different pieces of media. It can be whatever you want. There was
mm.
no specificity to what could be in your overall big top 5 categories. And
Right.
then, so Jason and I are going to share our 5 in between all of the different categories, while also sharing our coworkers slash friends slash therapists favorite things, as well as categories going down the list of movies, books, music, television, and so on. So anyway, Jason, would you
Yes,
like to jump in and start with your overall favorite thing?
I would love to.
Number 1. Yeah.
Number
And
one.
also,
Yeah.
these are not necessarily in like order of favoritism, or
Mm,
like number 1, unless, I mean, we can of course make that distinctly known, but I just wanted to say, like,
sure.
I'm just kind of doing mine in a random order to some extent. So
Great.
anyway, that's
Yeah.
the context.
Well, I'll start with my birthday, which was just a couple of months ago. I got to, so I love traveling. I'm very fortunate that I get to go different places. My husband and I were in Ireland and the UK around the end of September, and across my birthday on October 1st. And so I got to have like a proper tea service, like a British high tea service on my birthday, which I had never always heard about, but had never done before. But my birthday this year was pretty epic because of that. We got to see some excellent theater on the London West End, and then also it was just a great day. So that was
That's
probably
exciting.
that was definitely one of my favorite things.
I think my fear of like, I would love to participate in something like that, but I think they would hate me because I would just like mimic their accent. Like, I already do it all the time where I'm like, oh, hello. That's so wonderful. I love another cup of tea with a crumpet. Like, just like, I make it like part Cockney, part other
Right.
Yeah.
Super. Yeah.
It's just terrible, but I can't
Sure.
help it. Anyway, I love that for you. And
Well,
I
thanks.
remember
Yeah.
how excited you were about getting to do that. So
Yeah,
what a
it
great
was
way
really
to
cool.
spend your birthday.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. What was yours? Or what's your first one?
Yes. So the first one I'm sharing, I thought like it maybe feels a little on the nose, but it was beginning this podcast.
Yeah.
This is something that Jason knows I've been talking about for years, like literally 4 years. And and I finally did it, and Jason, was
Yep.
a huge force in helping me believe that this could happen, and here we are. So, I'm just so excited that I finally did it,
Mm.
and also it's been such a gift, and also such a great outlet, and I'm so grateful for this and for all of you listening out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my first one, my number one. I know it's so hard to say this, but one of five. How about that? We'll just say
Yes. There you
one of
go.
five
Yeah.
is beginning this podcast.
Yeah. No, excellent. Yeah. I'm really glad that you did this as well. It's been super fun. It's got some great momentum. We've got some ideas bubbling for season 2 already.
Yeah.
It's been really awesome. So,
Yeah.
let's do our movies. Like, what's as long as you're kind of going already, do you have like a favorite movie of the year or like a list of movies, or
Yeah.
what do you got?
So
Your top 27 movies of
that's honestly
yeah.
the thing that's really tough is like, this is, as we're both television, movie, acting fanboys.
Oh yeah.
And so, of course, November is a great time, this is when we're recording. Shocker, it's not December. Is that there's a lot of movies that are starting to come out now that I haven't seen yet. They're going to be like the
Right.
big Oscar movies. So hopefully they'll
Right.
land on 2026. However, I picked 5 that I feel like
Wow.
were the ones that I just really, either it was an amazing experience, it was truly something I enjoyed, and or I don't know, it felt deeply. I think the important thing about favorite things is it's not just about things that are brilliant necessarily. Like, I think you can, if it makes you happy, then that's all that matters. That's a favorite thing,
That
which,
is the
you know
criteria. That's
right.
what we're going for,
Well,
right?
yeah. So, like, I will just say, if anybody has any problems with anything I say, then that's okay. That could be on your list, but this is mine. So,
Yeah.
anyway, so my favorite movies of the year, I picked The
Mm.
Substance.
Ooh.
I absolutely love. I mean, if you're a horror fan, especially body horror, like, it's not for the faint of heart. But Demi Moore is excellent. I personally think she was robbed of the Oscar, but that's just me. And it was just, I don't know, it just stylistically, it's a brilliant movie. Also, kind of in that vein of thriller horror is Weapons. I loved that movie, an incredible cast,
I've
a
heard good
really
things. I haven't
compelling
seen it yet.
story.
Yeah.
It's so good. Oh my gosh, I
Wow.
rewatched it again. Like, and for
Wow.
me to rewatch something that's newer is like a testament, I think, to how much I love it, which is why it's on this list. But I will say Julia Garner, who a lot of people probably know from Ozark,
She's brilliant.
she's like won several Emmys from that show. She's just, I'm so glad that she is like killing it, because she is really kind of one of the main points of the movie. And so a lot of what's happening to her character is driving it, and she brings the intensity and there's a lot of outrageous things, but if the performances are good, it grounds it somehow. So I really love that. And then I also picked A House of Dynamite. It's a real true ensemble. and it does it from different points of view, and it's intense and it's scary and it makes you realize how easy everything could change and how
Mm,
scary that is. And
yeah.
the tension is palpable.
Mm.
I ate it up. Another one that, I don't, if you told me a couple years ago that I would have put this on my list, I'd be like, really? But I absolutely loved Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Huh.
I love a great action movie. And I will say, for all of the controversy with Tom Cruise, which I'm not even going to touch, is he knows how to make a great action film. He
Yeah.
really, I mean, he does
Yeah.
stunts and the pacing and it's intense, and I mean, it's excellent. It was the final one of the series, which I
Right.
haven't even seen them all, but I just sort of randomly decided to. I watched. I think it was the one before it was streaming, and it was so good. Like, it
Mm.
just, I love something that just holds you, and you don't really breathe the whole thing. I love a very overwhelming visceral experience. I don't know if it's actually, no. You know what? I will say, this is an aside, but I read a thing about people with anxiety love horror movies in a way because it's dealing with anxiety, but in a way where you're not actually going to get hurt
Sure.
because you get to participate in the feelings. And so I think that's
Right.
part of it. As somebody who has anxiety, I really like intense thrillers and scary shit because it does help me enact that. And
Yeah.
then my last one is The Naked Gun, which is the brand new remake of the original series that Leslie Nelson was in, which I loved those movies when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
Liam Neeson and Pamela
Liam Neeson.
Anderson
Yeah.
are in it. And you have to just like stupid, goofy shit. It is so intentionally silly and dumb,
Yeah.
but also like they have so much fun. You could just tell they're having so much fun doing the
Oh,
movie, and I love a great spoof. And
yeah.
so I recommend, if you just want some dumb laughs and that's your cup of tea, The Naked Gun is the way to go. So
Yeah.
anyway, that
Nice.
was
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
that's my list. All right, Jason,
Yeah.
what do you have? What did show up for you for movies?
I'm just doing a top in each of these categories, just a
Sure.
number one, and
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
nominate Wicked. The
Oh.
first Wicked movie. This is the first Wicked movie. I did a similar thing. My husband and I have seen it several times. Broadway, actually West End as well. We saw it on national tour. He's probably seen it like 10 times. I've probably seen it like 5. The Broadway staged production is gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful. Like, we both love it. The movie was better. And it was only
Wow.
half, which is
Wow.
incredible. Like, John M. Chu, unbelievable, like, took this thing and made an absolutely timeless classic with 2 of the most talented actress singers of, I think, of all time, honestly. Cynthia Erivo,
Wild.
Ariana Grande cannot top that. You cannot. So, like, it was one of those movies that as soon as it was released, we bought it. We don't buy we don't buy digital content very
Yes.
often in this house, and we
Same.
bought it immediately and watched it immediately. So I've already seen the first movie probably 5 times, and the second one's right about to come out, and we're like chomping at the bit. Can't wait.
Yeah. I
So
think it's
yeah,
gonna
so
destroy
that's my
us.
one. It's good. I know it will. I
Yeah.
still sob every time I watch the first one. So, like, the second one's just going to be even. I know it's going to be even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to also introduce Angie. Angie's got her list of favorite things. Here's Angie's 5 favorite things of the year. She had her 3rd granddaughter enter the world, baby Callie, on October 27th. That's really, really cool. Her number 2, joining the collective and connecting with all of us in the office. And when we go on our little retreat getaways, we've done a couple of those this year. So that was number 2 for her.
Yeah.
Number 3 was completing the final dive of her scuba certification. Congrats, Angie. That's
awesome.
really cool. And during that, she said she was graced with a massive sea turtle swimming alongside her. That's so freaking cool.
That's amazing.
She said it was probably 4 or 5 feet wide and several hundred pounds.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. This one I've actually done myself, not with her and her wife, but she went on an Alaskan.
But you did go with her family.
No, not at all. No. she went on an Alaskan cruise with her wife and her siblings and their spouses so that they could take her mother to see Alaska and glaciers and all
Wonderful.
of that. And it's really, if you haven't been on an Alaskan cruise, it is indescribable. There is no way for me to communicate to you what you will experience if you go there and see it in person.
I want
So
to so
if you can
bad.
do it, go there and see it in person. And then in her number 5, travels with her wife to enjoy the beaches of Punta Cana, Cancun, Isla Mujeres, and Playa del Carmen. I think, Angie, there's a theme there. I think you enjoy the beach. I think
Yes.
warm weather and beaches and traveling with it.
Mexico.
And Mexico. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Awesome.
mean, who doesn't
Yeah.
love a beach? Well, I guess some people, but what's wrong with
Some
them?
people.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right.
Sorry. I'm
Good job,
hating.
Ange. That's really great. Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Excellent
really,
list.
really awesome.
We hope one day to get Angie on the podcast. Some of our
Yes.
people are,
Mm.
a little trepidatious about it, but Angie is phenomenal. So if any of Angie's clients are by chance listening, just know we love her just as much as you probably do too.
Of course.
So, Jason, what is your next overall favorite thing?
I think I might have mentioned in an earlier episode, but my husband arranged, this was over the summer, a visit from one of my oldest friends. Sorry, longest known friends. She's not my.
I know as you get older, that term just doesn't
I
work.
know. It gets a little. But my friend
you're like,
Colette.
wait, they're 90? No, that's another friend.
No, right. Yeah. No, she and I are the same age, but she surprised me this summer, arranged with in accordance with my husband. And I came home from work one day and she was just there and I hadn't seen her in 7 years. And so it was really, really kick ass to spend some quality time with her and reconnect. And she's just a wonderful, beautiful human being. And she knows it. And she knows that I think that of her. But yeah, she's awesome. So thanks, Colette, for visiting. It was definitely one of my best moments of the year.
That was awesome.
Yeah. All right. How about you?
So my next favorite thing, also not going to be a surprise, one that I've basically said in many different ways. So I'm summing it up to basically all the Taylor Swift of it all for me in 2025, which included her getting her master's back, her engagement news, the Life of a Showgirl album, and then we're about to have this incredible documentary series, 6 parts, plus a brand new concert that's going to include scenes from the Tortured Poets Department. And she just loves her fans. She loves her fans so much. She gives us so much, and we didn't expect it because I think most of us were like, girl, you just got off a huge world changing tour.
Yeah.
And go relax. But she does what she loves, and that's why we keep getting so much content. So also I will say, to attach to that, is one of my besties, Sarah, came down for when the album came out, and so we listened to it together for the first time. Plus we also went to the screening of The Life of a Showgirl release party and in theaters, and it was just so much fun. And I love having friends that have those favorite things too, like we're talking about today, and the connection that comes with that. I think that it was just excellent. So thank you Taylor. I think we should get into our favorite books.
Sure.
Jason, what do you got?
I'm gonna give you just my top of the year. I mentioned it in a recent episode as one of my shout outs, but The Sunflower Boys by a young new author out of Massachusetts by the name of Sam Wachman, Wachman. If you have not read this book, it is a gorgeous, harrowing coming of age tale set in Ukraine right at the advent of the Ukraine-Russian war. And it is both terrible and beautiful. And I laughed and sobbed and hoped and cheered all the way through it. It is incredible that this young man who wrote this book is 25 years old. Wow. And that this is his first big novel that's been published. It is really incredible. Yeah. So definitely in my top things of this year. And if you're a reader and you like books like that, go get it, because he deserves to be a bestseller.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm definitely curious from everything you said about it. Yeah. So I have 3. I have been trying to up my reading, and I decided to follow Reese Witherspoon's book club.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I have read two of the books out of these three are books that I probably wouldn't have picked up if it hadn't been for the book club. And so
Yeah.
the first one I read that was one of my favorites was called Isola. And that is it's by Allegra Goodman, and it's a also, yeah, historical fiction, which I
Mm,
definitely do not pursue.
sure.
I'm getting it's so weird. This is like I don't know if this is aging, but I'm like, history's kind of cool.
I think it is, honestly. I think it's getting older
Yeah.
because I couldn't
You
have
have
given a crap
appreciation
about
for it, right?
really. Yeah,
Because I
really.
think
I didn't
when
give it. Yeah.
yeah, like when you're even when like when people talk about the 90s and the early odds, I think with current generations now talking about how that's old, I'm
Mm,
like, oh, so wait, how I felt about that is how like my parents felt about this time or
yeah.
people,
About
whatever.
the
And so
60s, right? Yeah.
it's yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's a beautifully written, it's heartbreaking, but it's also like about survival and perseverance
Mm,
and I recommend jumping into it. And then also I another great book which I've seen is has been on a lot of people's uh like it's a bestseller and it's definitely one that's gotten a lot of traction this year. It's called Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall,
mm,
and it's really this beautiful and also really I mean, it's just intense in terms of there's basically events that happen involving a child and basically you're trying to figure out, people's motivations and sort of being torn between love from the past that never got to come to fruition and the love you have now and what you do with that and there's all kinds of twists in it that sneak up on you. I just
yeah.
ate it up. And then this probably isn't too surprising if you've heard me rant about a lot of other things, but I really absolutely loved 107 Days by Kamala Harris.
Ah,
I
yeah. My
I
husband's reading that right
just
now. Yeah.
yeah,
Man.
I really loved her takes. It's so interesting to hear from her perspective. And it gave me as much as from watching that, living it out was incredible to hear it from who was actually living it
Hmm.
and the center point of it. I love her so much. And I really recommend it if you want to hear about the wild ride of the 2024 election from her point of view.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've got on books, we're now going to go into our buddy Asher's five favorite things of the year. And here they are in no particular order. First was joining Bentonville Counseling Collective after getting their LPC, which is a huge deal when you become
Woohoo.
terminally licensed. And this happened in March.
Uh-huh.
And yay, yay, yay. We're so happy you're with us, Ashy.
Yeah.
Next is floating the Grand Canyon with friends in July, which saw from the pictures, like how freaking
Sounds amazing.
cool,
Yep. Yep.
amazing. Also, they said there's some books
Yeah.
from 2021, 2022, which doesn't
Oh yeah.
matter, but they discovered the Monk and Robot series by Becky Chambers, which I've talked to them about this, and I definitely want to check that out too. As
Yeah.
well as getting a new tattoo. Asher's got all kinds of cool tattoos, and they got a new one of a nautical star that they've been wanting for a really long time. And the last thing on their list was really enjoying camping alone, which I think there's something really powerful about obviously being in nature, but then also finding ways to enjoy your alone time and
Yeah.
in those
Yeah.
spaces. And Asher was able to get to do that. So
Yeah. That's
yay,
really cool.
Ashy. Good list, buddy.
It's crazy that they only joined us in March. I
I
feel like
know.
Asher has been around so much longer than that,
It
but
really
I think that
does.
just speaks to like how good of a fit it is and how well integrated and
Absolutely.
how much we enjoy them. So yeah, that's
Mhm.
really really super cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. All right, you've got a overall number three. What's your overall number three?
Yes. So
Yeah.
my next on the list is my mom coming to visit me for my birthday
Aw,
this year. It was just
that was pretty
really
cool.
yeah, well, and you
Yeah.
got to have a little bite of that
Yeah.
with we basically, we just have my mom just likes to have a nice chill time, and two of us, watched TV shows together and
Mhm.
just caught up, and then we also all went out to dinner with the Bentonville Counseling Collective crew, and so
Mm.
everybody finally got to meet Linda,
Linda.
and
Woo!
I think she absolutely somehow liked you guys. So
Are you
I
kidding?
I think
We're
she's got
awesome.
some brain damage like I do. So maybe that's where I get it from. Just kidding, mom. I love you so much. So anyway, it's just so special. And I think when I've always known my mom is the best mom ever, but as you get older, you just celebrate those incredible moments, and how lucky you are to not only have that person in your life, but also to be lucky enough to have that relationship.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Especially doing the work we do, we know how
Yeah.
that's definitely not a given. So
No. Yeah.
having my mom visit
That's great.
for my birthday. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
How about you?
All right, so my number 3 is my husband and I were asked. We have some very, very dear friends. They unfortunately they had to move this year, but right
Boo.
before they moved, they asked us to be godparents to their
Mm.
10 and 6-year-old. And I think I might have cried for like a whole week. It
Oh.
was such a like even now it's still emotional, but like it was such a
Oh.
beautiful moment in my life to be honored in that way. And so I mean I just love them. Like I love the whole family, but I love those little guys too. Like they're just incredible kids. And the fact that I get to be in their life in like a significant way feels amazing. So yeah, definitely top of the list. One of my favorite things this year.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. All right, so favorite music. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna
Go
give
for
my
it.
favorite. My favorite album of the year is by Somber. I believe it's their debut album,
It
right?
is.
Yeah, really incredible. And I think I have to give you credit for introducing me. I mean, I definitely heard singles on the radio, but I think you told me, listen to that album. You're going to love it. It's like, it's emo and it's relaxing and it's poppy and it's like all the stuff. And I was like, you're right. And the first time I listened to it 3 times in a row. Cause I was like, and I don't do that. Like, I don't
Yeah.
listen to albums like that. So it was actually really, really good. Like really cool to hear that album.
Mhm.
So that's top of the list for me. How about you?
So
I'm
this is
still
going to be
chewing up
shocking.
here.
I
Yeah,
do have
yeah.
multiple options, and also I do have albums and songs. So I will do
Okay.
my best to with brevity. Good luck, everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll do songs first. The first one is from Somber, the song "I Wish
Mm.
I Knew How to Quit You."
Mm.
It has it's so well produced and lyrically, he is able to truly, you hear the ache and you hear the wistfulness, and also it's just so good. It's just so well produced, and moreover, I
Mhm.
just love it all around.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Next is Sue Me by Audrey Hobart, which I talked about her album, which is actually one of my albums of the year, Who's the
Mm.
Clown? And it's just one of the most infectious, poppy, fun, irreverent songs I've heard this year. Absolutely loved it. And again, these
Yeah.
are not in particular order, so I don't want anybody to
Mm.
come for me. Um, but then next, I couldn't pick a favorite, so I picked two: Elizabeth Taylor and Wishlist by Taylor Swift.
Wow.
Just love her album, and haters gonna hate. I was right about all the other albums that people have come to love, and you're gonna realize that too. Anyway, that's for another time.
Yeah.
A new addition to this that just literally happened is Robin's new single "Dopamine." I'm obsessed with it.
Have not listened yet. Yeah, I need to. Yeah.
She knows how to do dance and heartbreak
Mm.
and contemplation and pensiveness and tension in a way that is so remarkable, and she has inspired so many of the artists that are huge right now, and I just love it. So if you're into like dance that makes you feel things, Dopamine, excellent song. Next
Awesome.
is, I can't help it. It's just so catchy. Man Child by Sabrina Carpenter. It's just so, I just love her. I think again, she's doing something right. I mean, she's also kind of like one of Taylor Swift's like chosen ones. So I think that made me biased, but then also she's a great songwriter and singer, and really has fun with it. Next is Lord's What Was That? Which is again another, there's a lot of, I really like
Mm.
propulsive, electronic dance elements it can't just be anything. It has to have lyrics and the vocals have to be there. And Lord just has such a way of writing and performing what she does, and it's absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Then next is Abracadabra and How Bad Do You Want Me from Lady Gaga's Mayhem, which is also one of my favorite albums of the year.
Nice.
When I was watching the Grammys and she released the Abracadabra video during the commercials, it just was like, this is classic Lady Gaga. Like, it's just so, yeah, I can't not want to dance to it. And
Like
I
she's
mean,
bringing it back to her debut era, which is
yeah,
because
yeah.
I've heard a little bit of it, and it actually is. It is very reminiscent
It's
of
an
like how she
incredible
started.
album.
Yeah.
Great album.
Yeah.
And also,
Excellent.
and
Yeah.
thank you to her fiance, who apparently was like, you need to make a pop banger again. And she
Nice.
did
Yeah.
it. So thanks,
Excellent. Yeah.
Michael, I think his name is. I don't
Yeah.
Michael, just Michael Gaga.
Sure. Mr.
And
Gaga.
then
Yeah.
also another, this is from one of my, also a recent release from Demi Lovato, which her album, it's not that deep. I love the whole thing. There are certain albums that I really look at as workout albums, like where you could play it from top to bottom on your phone, working out somewhere, and like it will keep you moving. It just has drive
Ooh.
and propulsive beats, but
Yeah.
also like really great messages. And two songs that I picked out from that were Fast and Sorry to Myself, which is just a really beautiful message that she basically is just saying, I'm sorry for all the things I tolerated and put up with and did to myself that I thought I
Ooh.
needed to do. So,
Yeah.
and then with the favorite albums, just, I mentioned pretty much most of them. Yeah. So again, Life of a
Yeah.
Showgirl,
Nice.
it's not that deep. I barely know her, Songbird, that album, top to bottom. So anyway, those are my music choices.
Nice. No, very good. I knew that was
Yeah.
going to be a beefy category for you, just because of how much you love your music, and with the exception of Somber, with your female artists. Like,
I do love
every single one of the other mentions was a female artist, and I'm like, yep, that's checks for Sean, definitely.
That's part of my exploration for next year. I gotta find more male artists that I feel like are worthy of my time.
Oh, I thought you were gonna like start dating women.
To be continued.
I love how there was a mic drop moment there. Huh? What?
I didn't know what to do with that, so I was like,
yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
All right.
All right. So now we can do Elise's 5 favorite things.
Heck yeah.
Excellent. All right, Elise. Hey, girl. These are pretty great. And Elise she's one of our child therapists and art therapists, play therapists, and she's amazing. And so you probably heard her. If you're listening, you've heard her on a couple.
We love
you,
Lacey.
Lacey, yay! So having her family visit, that was top of the list for her. That's great. Great connection time. Growing our team retreat time. So like we really decided to like make that a thing, and we did it twice this year, and it was really, really amazing, and she really, really liked that. So apparently she also did a watercolor series, or she's continuing a watercolor series. I think I have seen some of that, but now that it's mentioned, I'm gonna have to ask her to see a little bit more of it. She listed multiple album drops, with the honorable mention being
The Life of a Showgirl.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm like, I know what that is in theory, but I can't read.
That's my fellow Swiftie.
So, yes,
Represent Elise.
And I just saw her come back the other day from crystal digging. This is, if you know Elise crystal digging, this is very much an Elise thing, where she goes away for the weekend and goes to like the woods or the caves or the wherever she goes, and she digs for crystals, which brings her so much joy. You can just see it exuding from her when she gets back from it. And so of course she had to mention that. So that was excellent. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's so great. Good job, Elise. Great list. All right. Well, so Jason, what's your next overall favorite? This is our 4th pick overall.
So, all right. So I got to go back to Amsterdam. I went there 15 years ago for the first time. And so I went back with my husband on a work trip, and he was doing a lot of work stuff, obviously. So I got to do my own thing. And one of my favorite things that I got to do while I was there was I visited a sauna. And for anybody who knows the Dutch are very into their saunas. And so this was a sauna called Sauna Deco, and it was in
Mm.
this, I think it was an old, I want to say a hotel or something, but in the Art Deco style. And so lots of like marble and like gold railing and stained glass. And then there was like a couple of outdoor like patio areas. And like the Dutch are very, very comfortable with like same sex nudity, mixed gender nudity. And so like everyone's just sort of like hanging out in a towel or not a towel and sweating and dipping. And like, it was just this, it was the coolest like cultural experience, but then also like just
Mm.
right up my alley. Like I love a good steam sauna environment. And it was just one of the most gorgeous places I've ever seen to
That's
really hang
cool.
out in. So definitely top of the list for me was Sauna Deco in Amsterdam.
Every time I hear more and more about Amsterdam, whether it's from people like you who go there or from shows where it takes place there, I'm just like, I've got to get my ass to
I've
Amsterdam.
I've mentioned it in other episodes. The Dutch are just so like the joke is that they're direct in the way that they talk about things, which they are, but it's not rude. It's
Yeah.
just honest. Like
Yeah.
it's just this is how it is, and this is how I will say it is because this is how it is, right? And so that's sort of the cliche. But what I think that helps to do is it puts everyone at ease
Mm.
and no one is putting on a facade and everyone feels more authentic and more relaxed and like they're the chillest people I've ever experienced. And so that's part
Wow.
of what makes going there so fun is that there's no pretense anymore, right?
And
There's
that's just
no
the people you're talking about. You're not even talking
these are
about everything else that's
the
incredible
experiences.
about
Go ahead and
Amsterdam.
have lots
Yeah.
and lots of other experiences while you're there, right? But like just the fact that there's no
The
pretense,
culture.
there's more authenticity, and everyone's just sort of chill and comfortable with themselves and each other. I would live there in a heartbeat. So yeah. Anyway,
And I would love to
favorite thing.
visit.
That's my number 4. Yeah, yeah. What's
Yeah,
your number
and
4?
then probably move there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, to follow what a few of our other people have said, my number 4 was moving to our new building and
Woo!
having Angie and Asher join us. It
Yeah,
has
it's pretty cool.
been we have talked about wanting to move to a new space, a larger space, and
Yep.
growing our team for a while. And the time just really came together in
Hmm.
such a perfect way. It really has felt like faded and it's just been great. And
Mm.
I love our space. Our clients love our space. We have so many things we still have yet to do with it that we're
Oh, I know. The
planning and plotting.
potential's just yeah.
Potential is
Hmm.
right there, and we're gonna make some great shit happen. So
Yep.
anyway, I just absolutely I
Yeah.
love our new home, and
Mm.
and hopefully it's home for a while until we move into some mega space where
Yeah.
I don't know, because of becoming wild successfully podcasters. And so anyway,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah,
Uh-huh. Sure.
yeah. So Jason,
Yeah.
do you have a favorite television show of the year?
Oh, so this one was really hard for me.
I knew it would be.
I'm not like a huge television person, but like when there's quality television and I find it, I can just live in it.
You absorb it,
it's
yeah,
my
like
it's like such a great like way to relax,
yeah,
downtime, right? And if you know anything about me, I love original and I love well done and I love a slow burn. And so probably my top of the list, and I'm just going to give the honorable mention overall shout out to Apple TV. Apple
mm,
TV has really been like in the last probably 3-4 years, like have
yeah,
really raised the bar for quality original television
yep,
with everything, right? From writing to directing to acting to production quality, everything is
documentaries,
all of it, right? The Jeff Buckley thing, like they've just really raised the bar,
yeah,
and it's a subscription I do not mind paying for
oh, yeah,
because of the quality that I get. But I
yeah.
would say probably top of the list on that is I definitely a shout out from earlier this year, Slow Horses. Oh my gosh.
That was one of the slow horses that entered the chat.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. So it's about an MI5, which is the sort of the CIA of the Brits. It's an offshoot for sort of the quote unquote rejects, and the name of the facility or the agency that they inhabit is called Slough House.
Mm.
And so this is where they get the nickname Slow Horses because they're sort of the rejects.
Mm.
and blah blah blah. But they just finished releasing their 5th season, but I only discovered it this year, and I have watched the first 4 seasons I think 3 times all the way through. It is
Wow.
such a good freaking show.
That's
If you
big.
love a spy thriller and you love really good acting, Gary Oldman is the most disgusting and the funniest, and he is at the top of his game in this show. Seriously, in terms of character creation, the top of his game. So I've watched the first seasons first 4 seasons probably 3 times, and season 5 just ended, and it's just quality all the way through. So there you go. That's my TV shout out for the year. Yeah. How about you?
I
What do
meant
you
to, I
got?
was going to say, because I know that,
Yeah.
yes, like, while I agree that as much as you're not like, I definitely consider myself like my TV's my best friend, but
Mm,
like when you love a TV show, you love it. Like, it's
yeah.
like,
I get into it.
injected
Hmm.
in your veins.
Yeah.
I always enjoy that from your point of view.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I had 6 favorite shows. So I'll do my best to, again, try and be brief.
Okay.
So first is, and I'm so glad that I love every October, it seems, when it comes back, The Diplomat. I
Ugh.
love The Diplomat. I love Carrie
Carrie
Russell
Russell.
plays
Also the
a
top
an
of her game right now.
Oh, yeah,
Also,
I've been a
right?
fan of
Oh,
her since Felicity, and I've followed her career, and she not
mhm.
only she seems like a great human being, but also she's such a great performer, and
Yeah.
the whole cast is great. And what I love too is that, like, I think you can watch some shows and everybody just looks way too Hollywood and pretty,
Mhm.
and these look like real people. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it feels real. And
Mm.
so it's basically a thriller of sorts, a political drama of sorts, but also has
That's a
comedic
relationship
beats to
drama?
it.
Yeah.
So you actually got to where I was heading,
Yeah.
which was that, to me, the show does such an incredible job of writing about relationships of all
Yeah.
kinds, both
Yep.
the high level political stuff between the president and vice president and all of that stuff. Also, just like, husband, wife, and friends, and also just how complicated and chaotic. And I feel like it just really points out how relationships are messy,
Mhm.
and but also that's like real. Like, I think sometimes when we get caught up in this idea of what they should be like, it can be really easy to judge, like, oh, that seems like a really highly dysfunctional relationship. But it's kind of like, well, I bet if you peeled back the curtains on most relationships, you would find dysfunctional parts. And so,
They're
like,
complicated and messy, like you said, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really specifically wanted to share, there's this little beat that just from the therapist in me that also
Mm.
loves television shows. So there's 2 supporting characters. There is Ali On, who plays Idra Park, who is
Mm.
the basically like the liaison of the
She's the CIA station
CIA.
chief.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
bad at remembering the specific terms.
That's okay. That's spy stuff. I'm all about that.
I see, and I love it
I'll give
too,
it
but
to you.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
terms can
Yeah.
overwhelm me sometimes.
Yeah, sure.
And then the character Stuart Hayford, played by
Mm.
Otto Isondo. I apologize if I butchered that,
He's
but
awesome.
so they have
Yeah.
this kind of on-off dynamic. And
Mhm.
what I specifically loved, which to me, I feel like this is so important and people don't think about this enough, is there's a scene where he's thinking about leaving his job.
Mm.
And so him and Idra Park, Alion's character,
Mm.
are talking about this, and they're, on and off. And so I'm just gonna read this real briefly. He said, "Do you want me to stay?" And she says, "Yes." And then he says, like, back to her, like, "I want you to stay." And then she said, "I don't want you to throw out your career." And then he says, "I want you to stay." Like, he's trying to get her to say the words.
Mhm.
And then she said, "When the country's fucked, the good people can't walk away. That is not the time." And then he whispers, "I want you to stay." And then with tears in her eyes, it's this beautiful performance. She looks at him and she says, "I want you to stay." And I
Mm.
was just like, yes, like, I think we just want to hear people confirm things for us.
Mhm.
And I think that was such a beautiful moment. I just felt on so many levels, because there have been times where I'm like, just say the words, just say it.
Yeah.
And when you hear it, it just does something. So anyway, that's just a tiny, like, microscopic piece of the whole thing. It's just
Yeah.
brilliant
No,
and
yeah. Yeah.
crazy and upending. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll go through the next ones quicker. So
I
then we
I
also,
I just want to add in.
yeah.
So you're right. It is a relationship drama. That's a beautiful relationship in there. Two things that I really like is it does a really good job of showing how the professional can influence the personal.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think you just described that in that scene, right? But that happens all over the place in that show, specifically between
Yes.
Carrie Russell. Yeah. But the other piece that I really like about it is we are now embracing, in a way that we haven't, I think, before, or at least historically, middle-aged women
Oh,
in
yes.
roles. Like, these are women in their 40s, right? Late 30s, early 40s, who are powerful, who are self-possessed, who are in charge of their lives, who have wants and needs, and it's all valid. Like, it's so fucking cool from a cultural perspective that I'm like, yes, like, more. I want more of that, right? I want women to rise up in this powerful. I really do. I really, like, I'm championing it. I'm cheering for it from the
Preach to the
sidelines.
choir, buddy.
100%, 100%. Yeah. So just want to call that out. Like, there's a big piece of that show for me is it's women, it's roles for women that you just don't see enough of.
Yes. Yeah.
So the end. Off my soapbox.
So no, believe
Yeah.
me, I
Yeah.
will. You want to talk about like awesome badass women? I could do it all day. I 100% co-sign that.
Mm.
So I'm actually, this is going to make me feel like a stretch initially, but you're going to have to go with me. Is that
Okay.
everything you just said is why this is on my list, which is the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing is that, and this is part of what Andy Cohen from Bravo has said, is that, he grew up watching soap operas. And on soap operas, they do have women of all ages who, yes, they're beautiful and glamorous, but like they have matriarchs. And so when he helped to produce the Real Housewives franchise, that was part of it, is he wanted to see these women that were living their lives sometimes, at their husbands, beck and call, but then also these powerful women who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s,
Yeah.
and showing how they're better than ever. And in fact, I would argue that because of the popularity of the Real Housewives franchise, I think we've seen a greater shot taken with women who are not, just, 30 and under.
Right.
And
Right.
so I think
Not
that's
just
the
the pretty
power of
ingenue. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
power of culture, is that when you see more people of certain places, it normalizes it. And then we're not going, what? Glenn Close is, starring in all these things, 60, 70 years old. Like, no, of course she is. I'm not going to say my mom's age, but like, to me, she is just as like amazing and as intelligent and sharp and powerful as ever. And I just,
Yeah.
I love seeing that message, especially as, as we are all aging. I think we should absolutely embrace that. So also, it's ridiculous. It's silly. It's like, it's just, if you want to
The show itself, Real Housewives.
yeah, it's Real Housewives of
Yes.
Salt Lake, not
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
women of certain age.
Right. Right.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's just it's just, I can't even. Yeah. Anyway, then also some of the shows that we've talked about on this podcast before, I can't not mention The White Lotus.
Of course.
Loved it. Of course, people have different thoughts about the season, but as a whole, I just, again, juicy performances, especially from women of a certain age, which Mike White really embraces. That's another example of that. You're going to see a lot of women on this list. Is also, we have Hacks, which I talk about all the time. Jean Smart and Hannah Einbinder, who finally won an Emmy for her performance, as well as Jean Smart's like fourth for this role.
That's incredible. Yeah.
It's phenomenal comedy and also really moving. Also, again, dipping into my reality place of love is Survivor Australia, which was Australia versus the world, it's basically, it's the iteration that they do in Australia. And if you're a Survivor fan, you know this, but if you're maybe somebody who doesn't pay attention to this, Australian Survivor is
like me.
like you.
Like
Australian Survivor is phenomenal.
Wow.
American Survivor needs to take a lot of lessons from it.
Jeez.
It's just great competition, amazing storylines, excellent casting, great like twists that they play into the game. And especially, the person who ended up winning the game was an American, Holla
Oh,
Parvati.
wow. Yeah.
And she is a woman in her 40s, but like is hotter and more in herself and her confidence, and played this like a killer game. It was so strategic and so excellent.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it was amazing. And then finally, I also included the Amazon series Overcompensating with Benito Skinner. Basically, yeah, he's learning to try to accept his sexuality in college. And it's funny. It was moving. I loved it. Yeah.
Mm.
So anyway.
Nice. No, I like it. Yeah, it's great.
I know.
It's
I
great,
just think
great.
about
Yeah.
the listeners are like,
Yeah.
but I will say, y'all, we made it through the main categories. Holla! So good job,
We
us.
did.
Okay, so now that you have endured television with Jason and I, we're going to wrap up the last member of our collective's favorite things, which is Rebecca. Hey, girl, hey. And Rebecca had some really awesome things happen this year. One is she's been having awesome Sunday family brunches and Wednesday family dinners, which
it's really cool.
I think it's, great when you can create regular touchstones like that with the people you love. Next was watching her grandson, Coyote, who is one of the most beautiful babies in the world.
Isn't he? Like, any picture she shows me, I'm like, put that kid on TV. He is. He's gorgeous. Yeah.
I'm notoriously anti-kid. But that kid he's a stunner. Anyway. And so she basically, as she put it, watched Coyote grow from a baby to a toddler, aka a real person, which is true. You see that personality just come out during that time. And it's really beautiful. Also joining, I think, the chorus of many of us, moving to a space where I get rainbows from the east in the morning and from the west in the afternoon. Rebecca loves her prisms. Cool. Rebecca loves her rainbows. And so she's been able to really embrace that in our new space, in our new office. Also, she said being there when my doggy learned to swim and suddenly transformed into Joey the fish, which Joey is her sweet dog. He's just, he's got such a spirit about him, and he's got a mama that's obsessed with him. And it's amazing. And then also, lastly, her very first surprise party given to her by some of her very best friends she's ever met. And I hear they're kind of cool people. So,
I might be partial, but I agree. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
Pretty good. That was.
Yeah.
It was a really fun night. Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
So, Jason, we have now gone to the 5th overall favorite thing of our list. Okay. What do you got?
I mentioned it earlier. I did a little spoiler at the top of the show, but finding out that my dog had a girlfriend, seriously, like, I know it's like, it seems such as like a silly thing, but
it's so cute.
If you know anything about like the origins of, so I'll just really quick.
Yeah,
so
please.
So when we got him, he was the most timid, and we don't know if he was maltreated, but we got him from a shelter. It took him months to warm up to us, to trust us, to be able to even just like clip a leash onto his collar. Wow. And so to see him really over the last 2 years, like really bloom, like really become comfortable and become the dog that he's always meant to be, and to play and then connect with other dogs and other humans. Like he finds his favorite humans at his daycare, and so they told me one day he has a girlfriend, and it just was the sweetest, cutest thing ever. And so, and they still hang out. Like, they still get to see each other. They still, yeah, I know. So definitely brought me some joy, and continues to, when they mention like, oh, Sophie's here today, when I drop him off, and I'm like, okay, good. Like, he'll have a good day.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your number 5?
Oh yeah. So my number 5. Anybody who's known me was wondering if this was ever going to happen, including myself. And yes, I finally, after 19 years of having a car, got a brand new car.
Woo!
One that I love it so much. My last car was a 2006 Saturn Vue. And it got me. I mean, it was with me from, my undergrad years through graduate school,
Wow.
through moving here and all the years I've been here, and I just rode that thing till basically I couldn't anymore, and
Yeah.
finally I found the perfect car after just going back and forth, and now I got my 2026 Honda
Mm.
Passport. I love it so much. It's just I just have so much gratitude for like modern amenities where, like things like, I remember I'm like, I have a backup camera.
My windows roll down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
just
No.
yeah, I just
Uh-huh.
love it so much. So it was a huge
It
step
really
to
suits
finally
you.
do it.
It
Thank
suits you, by the
you.
way. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looks yeah, you look really good driving it. Yeah, and I'm
Oh,
glad you finally
yeah.
did that for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it was about damn time. And hey, we finally got there. So
Yeah.
yay, that.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Should we wander into our takeaways?
I think so.
All
Yeah.
right. Great.
I think that when it comes to looking at what we love, if
Mm,
we are defined by what we love, then how would those favorite things define who you are?
mm-hmm.
And maybe ask yourself out there, are there any patterns to that? Sometimes you can look at your life and go, wow, like I am not diversifying things enough, which is kind of what I felt.
Mm,
A lot of my stuff are either artists or people that are my go-to artists or shows, as opposed to seeking things out. And so I've been trying to really think about that. And so
yeah.
I hope that maybe others can think about that for themselves, is, really looking at what do my favorite things say about me? And how can that maybe help us understand ourselves?
No, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective to take. I hadn't thought of that initially in that way, but um I like that it not necessarily defines, but it helps, I think, maybe outline or maybe
Yeah.
give like some texture to who we are
Exactly.
as people, right? There's a little bit of vulnerability when we share the things that we like. And so it really does help to describe us to the people that, the people that appreciate us, that are important to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the things, then this kind of like connects back to what we were talking about at the top about like the divisiveness and the year itself and how things can feel heavy and
Yeah.
partisan and all of those sorts of things is when we look for the ways to connect with ourselves through those things and connect with others through those things, we're really we're starting to look at the world through that lens of
Hmm.
love or the things that we love. And it's not Pollyanna rose colored glasses ignoring, all of the terribleness. It's really just about a yes and. It's about going,
Yes.
yeah, there's a lot of terrible shit and there's also a lot of good shit. And if I can focus on that, if I can bring that in, if I can engage myself, right? And then also connect with others through those things, that to me is what all of us everywhere need to be doing more of all of the time, is looking for ways that we are similar, looking for ways that we share joy, share our likes and our joys, and being together in that, right? Like being
Yes.
cultivating that energy versus going, oh my God, everything's terrible and everyone's terrible and just leave me alone. I'm gonna talk to my robots. Like it's right. That's not gonna be a
Yeah.
satisfying existence.
Yeah.
It's just not. So for me, that's a big takeaway in all of this. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, even as you're saying that, I'm like, instead of like being at a party where you have a name tag on that's like, hello, my name is
Mm,
Sean. Like,
mm.
what if instead, like, we could have stickers of our like interests that we put on ourselves, and then you could just look and be like, oh, hey, you like that too? Or, oh, I've never seen that. What do you think about that? Like,
I love that idea.
hey, no one out there take that idea, because God damn it, I will sue.
It's like
I'm I'm
it's an
quite
idea for like a
litigious. No,
mixer or something, right? Where
yeah,
you're like
like I just
meeting
think
people,
like,
making new friends. Yeah.
'cause yeah, imagine, like, we don't know, like, I, may look at you and not know, like, "Oh, Jason loves Wicked." Like, wow, I would love,
Yeah.
let's talk about how much we love blah, blah, blah part of it. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, like, again, with what you were saying is, I think just what connects us versus what separates us, there's so
Hmm.
many more of those things. And I know that, again, can sound very trite or overwrought to be like, "There's
Yeah.
more things that bring us together than tear us apart." But in real reality, like real reality, y'all, we really
Real
do
real
have,
reality.
yeah,
Yeah.
not just fake
Yeah.
reality, but real reality. is we do have so much that bonds us that we just maybe don't know yet. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I love that. And
Nice.
then another or maybe final takeaway is this is
Mm,
really especially when I was thinking about this episode, I really also thought about this for our therapists who might be listening out there
uh,
is I think the cool thing about engaging with clients on discussing their favorite things is it can actually really, really deeply help you meet them at a deeper level and connect with them on things.
yeah.
You might also really be able to provide context through their experiences from the lens of those things that they love, using metaphor, or I mean, I don't know how many times I definitely have my Swifty clients out there and they see my office and they feel at home.
Yeah.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I'll drop song lyrics that relate to different things and they're like, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, you're
Mm.
right, or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, also, I think kind of what we've been saying this whole time, when people discuss what they enjoy, they tend to relax, they light up, and they
Yeah.
appreciate the interest in what they care about, leading to that stronger rapport.
Yeah. I
It's a
like that.
beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So
It
please, and
is. Yeah.
honestly, you don't even have to be a therapist. You can just really use this with other people. I think even, with parents out there, I'm not going to tell you to parent because I'm the last person to do that. But I will say, like,
Yeah.
that's a way you connect with your kids. And maybe that, no, duh. But like, especially I think as they get older, we're really trying to get into what really makes them feel things. Cause I don't know about you, Jason. When I was a
Mm.
teenager, what I loved, it was like my whole life. And so if you feel like you're struggling to connect with your kids, I really hope that you can find a way to find a mutual thing you like together
Yeah.
that can be the thing that bonds you through maybe some of those harder times.
I've literally heard from several clients who have kids that they bond over Taylor Swift. It,
Yeah, it's
because of how universal
beautiful.
she can be, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
as soon as kids are starting to get interested in music, they're landing, on Taylor Swift in some way, shape, or form, and mom and dad are going, "Oh yeah, I like the song,"
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so it
Yeah.
becomes a point of connection for them, which is really cool. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that's awesome.
beautiful. Okay, well, we are at the final shout out of the year, which is sort of like the culmination of all of this, which is, maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be a favorite thing. I think a shout out, our shout outs, as we've talked about before, are ways of either giving kudos to things, celebrating people, events, whatever that just really uh I don't know, it feels like something that we wanna recognize and draw attention to. So, Jason, what is your shout out of the year?
So you might be surprised, and we've sort of mentioned this in another way already, but getting to do this podcast with you is
Really?
probably like one of the top, definitely one of the top of
Aw.
highlights of the year. You know that I have acting background. I like performing, but also love my work. And so the fact that we get to put more content out into the world and do it about something that we both are interested in, that we both love to do, like for work. But it's also been really nice to connect with you over this process and to have this creative outlet to do it with somebody that I enjoy talking to. And so I know that feels maybe a little like syrupy, but
No.
truly,
I
like,
mean,
this
not
is
to
really
me.
cool. Like this, yeah. No, I know that you would appreciate it.
Yeah.
For anybody else who's listening who's going, oh my gosh, he's saying the podcast. It's a real thing. Like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
truly has been a joy to do this year. And so I'm really glad that you got out of your own way and that you decided to
Yeah.
let this culminate. Like you said, like this has been a year of culmination for you of execution. And so you did it and you really took the lead on it. And I think it's a really quality thing that we're putting out there. So good job and thanks.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'm touched, but also, I think when I think about this year and I think about especially, white dudes on podcasts are
Sure.
abundant.
Mhm.
However, I'd like to think that we're trying to put content out there that maybe goes in the opposite direction of a lot of that. And so while, yes, we need way more, way, way, way more diversity in our
Yep.
podcasts,
Yep.
I hope that you can see that a couple of white dudes really do want the world to be a better place. And we also want to strive to make this something where we're learning and challenging ourselves. I'm just so glad that you're a part of this journey, and I know you want those
Thanks.
things
Yeah,
too. So
for
thanks for
sure.
recognizing that. Thanks for shouting that
Thanks.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What's yours?
All right. So my shout out of the year and little vulnerability here, people,
Mm,
is I want to give my shout out to my immediate family. And that especially goes out to my mom and my sister and also my brother-in-law because this isn't something that I've mentioned on the podcast, but in January of this year, um, my my dad passed away after living with cancer uh, for almost 8 years.
mm,
Watching my family find ways, especially my mom, just learn how to come together and go through something when you lose a major part of your life. It changes you and things are forever different. And my mom, my dad used to always talk about the women in my mom's family. He's like, they're tough. They're just tough broads because they just, then they are like just the women. And
yeah.
I know that's a big reason why I love women so much is because my dad
Yeah.
always celebrated strong women, and I'm surrounded by them. And the way that my mom, I don't know how she did it. And then, I'm not back home in KC where I'm from. So my sister and my brother in law, they did so much. They did everything they could to help with that. And I miss him so much. But I'm also, I'm able to reflect on how much I appreciate everything he did for us and also just the relief of knowing he's no
Mm,
longer suffering
yeah.
because he was a tough bastard. And and I said something like this to you the other day, Jason, is that
Mm,
I know that the older I get, the more I realize, oh man, I'm becoming more and more like him. And that can be really, really like, oh boy. And
uh-huh.
also, most of the time, it's like, I'm really fucking proud because
Yeah.
he was a really excellent example of a man.
That's really beautiful.
And so I just, he was just incredible. And he passed shortly before my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary. And
Mm,
so it's just like there's so many little things that are just so tough in the reality of loss. And I know we just talked about gratitude and when I talked, I mentioned about how I find gratitude in the grief, that's been a huge part of that. And so
mm.
I just I'm so moved by the strength, perseverance, and just commitment to keep going.
Yeah.
And so my shout outs to my family. I just, my family, I've always loved my family, but this year I've just had to really see it in ways that maybe I didn't want to, but then in ways that are making me, I think, hopefully a better person. And we're all just gonna keep going and we're gonna, live loud and rebel when we need to, just like my dad would want, and keeping up the good fight and having lots of laughs along the way. So
Thanks for
that's my
sharing that, Johnny.
that's my shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm really trying not to do the sorry, because it's such a gut response to apologize for when you cry, but
Yep.
like there's
Don't have
nothing
to.
wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
Mm-mm.
with it.
Yep.
And vulnerability is what we preach on here. And, I know I
Exactly.
talk a lot about I like to keep things, kind of private when I choose to. But this is just, I don't, I think there's a part of me that I wasn't ready to really mention anything about it
Mm.
because it's obviously a lot, but also it would be just completely unfair to this life that I'm living and this year that I've had to
Yeah.
not acknowledge, one of the biggest changes I'll ever imagine, which is, losing a parent. So
Yeah.
anyway, love you, Dad. And I just also I already said this to Jason when we were talking about this, but I dedicate this episode to him because I really know he'd love this. I really believe it.
I think he'd be proud.
And I do too. And I really say that with modesty, not just like, oh yeah, this is a great podcast. But like I just know I'm sure I would have gotten these long texts from him about what he thought. And
Mm.
he just was an amazing man. So thank you, Deb, for making me the man I am and
Mm.
and just for my family. Yeah. Oh god.
That's amazing.
Woo.
All right, you win.
God damn.
You win the shout outs. I know it was a contest this entire time, and you just saved that for the end.
Oh.
Can't beat I can't beat a dying dad. Can't do it.
Got the dead dad card. Just had to
Dead
play
dad
it.
club. Yeah. Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that, Sean. That's really
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah.
And absolutely we're dedicating this to him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we did it. We did
We
it,
did it.
Joe. Oh my gosh. Jason, thank you for this season of Collect Your Thoughts. Thank
Yeah.
you
Thank you. Yeah.
for just your partnership in this. And also I don't know about you, Jason. Thank you for everyone who's listened, who's given us feedback, who's told us what
Mm-hmm.
these episodes have meant to them. And we just are so we obviously we could do this without you, but it'd be really sad too. So like then it'd just be a thing for us to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just deeply grateful. I don't know. What about you, Jason? I mean, what is it, just knowing that this is our first season, we're wrapping it up.
Yeah. It's been really cool. It's been really fun. It's been really, I don't know, creative, challenging in like a really awesome way. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And like you said, like I'm excited for what's to come. Like we've still got
Yeah.
so much to talk about. We've still got so many more ideas and ways to, enhance or retool or,
We're
whatever
just
it might be.
scratching the
So
surface of the surface, people.
honestly, like we could just keep doing this. So really grateful for everyone who's continued to listen and who enjoys our
Our
our musings on
shenanigans.
things. Yeah, our shenanigans. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's land this plane. Thank you,
All right.
everybody, again. Thank you for being a part of
Yeah.
this with us. And if you would like, we would love to hear from you. Please, like, subscribe, leave comments, whatever suits your fancy on any of our social media platforms. We would love to hear from you. And last but not least, for one last time in 2025, which we're going to have some Acorn episodes for the rest of December.
Sure.
However, for now, let's just always remember to take a deep breath and
Collect your thoughts.
yeah. Thank you
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.
Have a great one. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, all the good stuff.
Yep.
Bye.